Yo, 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 what's good, everybody? Welcome back. We got ourselves the Xero Gas Grand Prix here.
I thought I was in between you.
This race actually took place about a week or so ago. I had some other things going on, and I just didn't really feel the inspiration to upload it for certain reasons I'm not going to speak about at the moment. I'll talk about it at the end of the race.
That's what it looks like.
You guys will see why. But there was also some other things going on in my life that I needed to take care of. But anyway, so we tried doing it on the tried doing the start on the normal spot, right? And y'all about to see what happens. I'm gonna compile some of these failures of this turn one. Look at this carnage. I'm the only one who slipped through, actually. That would have been amazing for us right off the rip, but people were pushed over the wall. I was the only one that actually slipped through that.
I was in first. I was ready to go.
So we're having a restart because this turn one is just so tight, bro. Honestly, I think this track would work much better in non-contact. But here's attempt number 2 here, and we actually make it again. We actually get through everything again, taking that inside line to help us out. But this time we get pushed a little more wide, and we get hit by a super or something. And yeah, that didn't work out. That was not happening. So we decided to start halfway through the grid, or halfway through the track, and it worked much better. It was much smoother. I tapped Viper a little bit on accident there, but it was all fine. I nearly get thrown off. It was almost another restart there. But I was like,
but I'm not even gonna bother.
Yeah, I was
knocked off almost.
I didn't want to, make us restart again, so I was like, I'll just deal with it. But we have some ground to make up because we got ourselves like 3 downgrades right now on this car. That's why I'm running the 5.5 setup to account for some speed.
Oh man,
loss.
all of us this close on the hotel.
Stop talking.
Ajax telling me to stop talking. I was like, man, we're all going through the hotel, and this man just freaks out on me. I'm telling you, I don't know what it is, but whenever I talk in these Ram races, Ajax will freak out. But someone else talks, oh no, it's no big deal. It's like, calm down, bro. Just speaking for 2 seconds. Relax, relax. But we got ourselves up in 9th right now. I guess we haven't really made a position, but we're about to make one on Super here as we enter the gas station or get close to it here. I think that is Stony and Grand ahead of us. The last few races, Grand has been lagging, honestly, a little bit, almost unbearable to the point. Like, it's pretty bad.
What the heck?
But I was able to get past him and not worry about it too much.
Sorry,
Some sort of mashup happened in turn 1. I have no idea what happened. Island and Viper and someone collided. But that's nice for us because that gets us up to P2. We get past Alex, and a mashup happens in turn 1, which is a huge thing for us. Apparently, like, Alex lost his wing and Viper lost his wing, so right now I'm like, okay, this is kind of golden for us, right? Like, we got 3 downgrades. That's basically gonna save us. They're gonna have to go a whole lap without a wing, and then they're gonna have to pit.
How many people don't have wings?
So
me, 1,
I'm pushing, and actually,
how many people don't have wings?
Alex and Viper both
All
lost their wings, and if 3 people lose their wings, it's a restart.
Alright.
Which I didn't know that applied after the first lap like that, because that was well after the first lap, so I don't know how that whole thing works, but it was only 2 people, so no restart was applied, which was nice for me, because I was like, okay, I can push in P2, I can maybe get a chance maybe for a second or maybe even a win here, if I can keep my pace up and just push real hard and not make any mistakes. So we got Ajax in front of us. It's going to be very hard to catch him, though. He's got no downgrades, and we're very downgraded, so we're going to have to really send it through these corners, send it through these chicanes, send it through this hotel, and just make the most out of this. As we do very decent there. We actually did nicely there. And we're getting a little closer to Ajax after that hotel. That is definitely going to be the area where you make the most time, because you're not going to lose too much speed, there. I don't think the stock's going to make a huge difference on the car when you're going through there. It's more like down the hill. You can see he's breaking free again. Might be able to make a tiny bit of time to the gas station, but then he's gonna break free right away again on the straight. As you see, he just bolts. He's out, and
outside super.
We're just gonna hang out in second right now, and try to hold this position, potentially, maybe possibly get up to Ajax. Man, I'm telling you, this race, I was real nervous about it. I knew turn 1 was gonna be a problem. I knew it was gonna be an issue. It was inevitable, bro. Turn 1 is just too tight, man. It's too small. There's not enough room for these BRAs to squeeze through that, especially when everyone's running down the straight. I think they either need to widen that turn, because this track is apparently being edited for the next season.
Oh, I'll let you buy Alex.
But I think they either need to change the
technically, I think I owe you the position after pitting.
Which I think regardless they should change it, but they also I think they should change where you start the race. It would be cool. Maybe you start the race like up on the top of the hill, and you go down the hill like right after you're out of the hotel. I think maybe starting up at the top of the hill and going down the hill into the gas station, just to allow people to kind of break up a little bit.
Yeah, I
get
lost
some of the
my body.
slipstream on the straights and stuff. That way it's not
I
so
didn't do anything.
mashed up for turn 1, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you're good.
But I'm sure they'll figure something out for that. We're making some time on Ajax here. I don't know how much time we're getting, but it seems like we make a little bit of time through the corners, and he kind of breaks free in these straights, and then it's just kind of like back and forth here. So we're hunting. We're getting close, real close now. As you can see, we're nearly in slipstream now. I almost actually caught it there. Oh, I actually did catch it there for a second. So now we're in attack range. We're in attack distance now. So we're going to try to get to him, and we got some slip for a second, but then he got too far. And I'm noticing, I think, am I in camera 2 right now? Because I swear, I'm always in camera 1. The camera just looks smaller. It's kind of off topic to say there, but I'm used to my car being closer, but that may just also be the BR8. We keep barely, like you can hear it, the slipstream, you catch it. I keep catching it for like a second, and then he just gets he's too fast, and I can't keep up with his engine. But this is the worst area. We don't want slipstream through this, so I'm gonna kind of try to relax here for a second and maybe go a little wide and just try to hold off. And something happens with Ajax. I have no idea what happened.
Just happened, Ajax.
But I take first. And now I'm like, okay, we're in first place. We have a good gap to second. I don't know who's in second.
I got pushed through you, Super. I'm sorry.
This is looking solid for us right now. You know what I mean? We are we're 3 downgrades down, so we're gonna be slow as hell. But we have a decent gap here, and if we can drive real consistent, I mean, look at how far we are from Viper right now. We got a good 23-second gap, nearly, you know, 22-second gap, and he's got to go through traffic, and I'm just driving free. So I'm like, okay, you know, this is good, but I got to keep my composure. You know, the race isn't over till it ends, so we got to keep pushing and keeping our speed going. So that's exactly what we're gonna try and do here. I'm also trying to manage my tires, because that top turn really does eat your tires up, because you normally skid when you're pushing real hard. You skid there every time, but if you just kind of lift and coast through that a little more and don't brake as hard, you can keep your tires from moving as much, but you lose a tiny bit of time. And yeah, now it's all about tire management and just consistency at this point. We got ourselves a good 8-second gap to Ajax, and he's lost his wings, so he's gonna have to pit. So Grand's gonna actually be the one behind us in second. So we got quite a distance from us in the either the flow state racers, which is nice. And we're going to try and do our best to use that as an advantage here. And right now we're on lap 5, so this race has still got a long way to go. Personally, I think this race was a little too long. I think this race should have been like 21 laps or 22 laps. I don't know. I know he like kind of goes with like the miles to laps and all that, so maybe I'm wrong there, but it just felt longer than normal races. It definitely was a little longer than most races we have. I'd say by a good 10 minutes, 5-10 minutes. Nonetheless, though, it was a decent race for the most part. There's something that happens towards the end that's a little weird. I'm not gonna say anything, but for the most part, it was okay. It was surprisingly, you know, I mean, I got lucky. I definitely got lucky at first, because, you know, Viper, my competition got hindered very badly because of the front wings loss and stuff. So kind of was able to, you know, take that and use that as somewhat of an advantage to help me a little bit. But it's far from over. They have more than enough time to still catch up, so we can't slow down, you know.
Ideally.
And man, from this point, we're just kind of in first. This is going to be kind of a hard video to commentate for the entire race. Towards the end, it gets a little exciting, but for at least from a viewing standpoint, for me, it wasn't exciting. But nonetheless, we're taking this through the hotel, very smooth. And we're trying to keep these tires. Obviously, you kind of like catch yourself there with the back end, and that also wears your tires like that. You don't really try to avoid that if you can. As you see, I almost kind of drift around that last corner there, going down the hill. Not really ideal, because that's how your tires wear so quick. And on this track, it's all the rear end. You know, it's not like some of the tracks where your front end will wear more. No, it's the rear end here. So really got to try and watch that rear end as best as possible. I was gonna try and run a really light setup, but it just wasn't working. The max downforce is ideally the best setup to use on this track. I went with 5.5, which is high downforce, just to give me a little straight speed. But it didn't really it didn't really lose too much downforce for me. So I was able to hang out and still drive really comfortable. And yeah, man, we're hanging out, we're cruising. We're real I mean, look at this right now. There is no one even close to us. Honestly, this was our race to win. Honestly, this is like looking real good for us right now. Look at the gap to even second place. Like they're just going through the chicane out of turn 1, so we got a big gap. You know, we're really out here right now, so we just got to try to keep this together. Apparently something happened with Viper. I'm hearing a caution. Apparently he lost a front and rear wing, so that's 2 times that Viper lost a front and rear wing. So right now we're like, bro, we really have a chance here. You know what I mean?
Alex, I'm gonna let you by. West side.
It's all about consistency at this point. It's all about keeping it all together, and that's what we're gonna try to do.
I have no front or rear.
Yeah, so we're going up the hill. We're 21 seconds ahead of even Ajax, 22 seconds nearly. And taking this, as you see, taking that exit to entry. It was a little, or entry to exit. It was a little laggy, as you see there. It seemed like it froze for a second there, but it was very smooth on the wheel, on that part of like our wheels. You see, it's really hard. You see the skid marks just barely popping up on the back there. This is where you're losing your tires mostly here, is through this. I feel like, honestly, looking back at it, I probably should have coasted and lifted just a little bit more, but it was okay. This time everyone's kind of out, like far away, and they're gonna be needing the pit because they're losing their wings. So I'm like, okay, we're probably okay to push a little bit here. And man, down that hill, I don't know what it was, but in the race, I was struggling to get that turn perfect going down that hill. And we're hitting like 146, 145s. We're kind of slow compared to everyone else. People are going to be getting like 144s. We're a couple seconds down, but we have this huge gap. So even if we're losing a second or so or lap, we got such a lead, and they're going to have to pit, that we should be okay here. We just got to keep this up for the rest of the race.
Pitting.
And now Grand apparently also lost his front wing. He's pitting. Honestly, man, this track, I wouldn't be upset to see this track removed next season. It's not a horrible track. Don't get me wrong. It's just, for me, I think this is more of like a non-contact track. To me, for me personally, like this track is more of a track that I feel like would be fun to like play non-contact and like test your pace, opposed to like battling. It's not really a battle track. Like there's not many areas that you can go wheel to wheel around multiple corners and kind of keep up with people, you know. It's possible, sure, yes, but it's just not as smooth. It's not as comfortable, you know what I mean? Which maybe that was why Ajax was going for. Maybe he just wanted a really tight, challenging track. But I think in this particular situation, it didn't end up working out. And yeah, man, it's just it was an interesting race for all of us. Everyone in this race had like something happen to them throughout the entire race. Someone was either lost their front wing or crashed. Everyone was getting hit over the barriers. Like, it was honestly carnage for everyone. It was just chaos. Like, this race was nuts. From my perspective right now, you're like, no, what are you talking about? You're in first, there's nothing happening. But the reason I'm in first is because of all the carnage happening behind me. You know, people are losing their front wings, they're crashing, and we're just gonna try and do our best. We got like a 35-second gap on Viper right now. You know what I mean? That's that's like a quarter lap, or that's like a third of a lap, I think. So
boxing?
I go inside, I box. Look how thin this pit is. I'm sorry, but widen that damn pit up, bro. Why is that pit so tight? And y'all gonna see something that happens later on with that. Well, I'm mentioning it now. I'm not gonna spoil what happens. Something happens with that pit later, and it's not good. That's all I gotta say. It's not good. And it was a little bit my fault too. It was my fault a little bit, but at the same time, that track's just the pit's too tight, bro. It could be wider than that. There's so much space on the straight too. I don't know why you tightened that up in the first part of the entry. Could have totally widened it up, or even just removed that entire gray wall, metal wall thing. I don't even think you needed to add that. You could have just had the pit area. I don't know why you added that whole little section. Maybe to make it look a little more fancy or whatever, but I think it was unnecessary, but whatever. Nonetheless, we got 17 seconds on Ajax. He is catching us, but we are still maintaining a decent gap. Hitting pretty consistent lap times, or like times throughout the race, like on the corners and stuff, because I'm always checking my pace. Okay. So right now we're seeming like we're decent. I always try to compare to my race pace, or my qualify pace, of course. I kind of tap the curb there, lose a tiny bit of time, but we're alright. And see, how do we take this hill this time? We do not slide. We got that nice. That's what you want to do there.
Man, you're lagging really bad.
We got some lagging players in here. You can hear Stoney, I think, saying that it was mainly, I seen Grand lagging a lot. He has been lagging a lot the last few races.
I was about to have a seizure behind you. Holy cow.
I don't know what's been up with that. It's kind of unfortunate it's been happening towards the end of the season as well. It's like the worst time to have lag like this approach, you know. And Alex is actually getting close to Ajax, so we got to keep an eye on Alex. I think Alex is our main threat at the moment. He's a good like over 10 seconds ahead of Viper, so he is going to be getting close to us, I think, by the end of the race if he keeps up this consistency. and pace, because we're running like 140 high 146s out here. We're pretty slow out here, and something happened to the gap. Something happened to the time. I think they had an incident because I heard Alex say, "Are you good?" So I think they actually lost like 5-6 seconds. So honestly, all that work he was doing kind of got undone. Unfortunate for him, but fortunate for us. We're gonna use it. We're gonna try and use that to our advantage. As Chris gets into the spectation mode. Hello, Chris. What's up? And I think that said Chris. I mean, I hope that said Chris. It's a little blurry on my screen, so I think that said Chris. Ajax and Alex are both right on each other. As you see, the gap is within like 5 tenths, 6, 7 tenths, so they're pretty close. And we hit our, 42 coming out of the corner here. I mean, that seems to be what we hit every time. And, yeah, man, at this point, we're just trying to keep up the pace, trying to stay ahead of these guys. Man, this might be the hardest video to commentate for a whole fucking 40 minutes. I might not be able to. Might have to cut back in towards the end of the race when something happens and just let y'all watch the shit, because there is not much to talk about. As you see, we took that a little sharper this time. Almost hit the wall actually there. Let's see, do we slide it all through here or do we hit it smooth? A little bit of sliding, nothing too bad. Oh, a little bit more on the end. That's where you lose all of that tire, man. And then let's see, through the exit here, we're good. And hit this corner pretty decent. Kind of mow the lawn a little bit. Doing a little Bottas move on that shit. We managed to maintain a 21-second gap throughout most of that lap, so that was nice. They're probably battling, so that's probably helping me out a little bit. We run through the gas station here, and we are now going to be on lap. Actually, don't know. What is it? Lap 10, man. See, this is a long race. You know what I mean? We're only on lap 10. We're good 16 minutes into this video. 17 minutes about.
Alex broke
and we're only on lap 10. We still got like twice the distance and an extra 6 laps. So this is only a long race. So yeah, dude, we got this long ass race, and that means it's gonna take. That means we have to be consistent for a long time. You know what I mean?
Why is my car going so slow?
It's one thing in the certain tracks where it's like a quicker race.
I'm about to pit.
You got to be consistent for a certain amount of laps. But with this race, it was an extra amount of strain on you. You know, you really got to focus. But we got a 22-second gap. As you see, Alex and Ajax are battling right now. As you see, they're actually getting close. Alex is honing in on him. So he may be close to us soon. So we got to keep an eye out on Alex. He may be our threat here, because Viper apparently just pitted recently again. Kind of a messy race for all of us. Honestly, this race was just, everyone had a kind of a shitty race in this one, bro. Like it was kind of messy. Everyone was losing their wings and shit. It's not that this track's that bad though. Like I said, it's just I think this track would be better for non-contact. Honestly, I said that already, but it would be better for non-contact. I think they don't do that obviously, but I just think this is that type of track. It's more fun for that. I don't though. It's harder to wheel on this track. It's just super tight in a lot of areas and stuff. Not many overtake opportunities unless you're on the straights. And a little off topic, but I haven't really been on my PS4 much recently. I've been playing Halo. I kind of talked about this a few weeks ago. I've been really enjoying Halo Infinite. I'm not going to talk about it too much, at least. I mean, I'll talk about it a little more later, but there's something else I want to speak about when we coming up to this lap here. I'm going to talk about it more here in a minute, so I'm just letting y'all know. But let's get back into the race for a second before I talk about that. But yeah, we just we hit like a 146. That seems to be our average. 145 is maybe the best we can extract out of this downforce, or this low what's it called, these downgrades I mean. But getting a 146 is respectable. It's still not great though. It's still gonna be like a good 1.5 to 2 seconds slower than anyone else, or the top guys at least. But we slide a little bit there, as you see. I'm really trying not to do that, man, because that's how your tires wear. Like, there's so many areas on this track that beat up your tires like that. You got that turn there, and then you have the hotel itself, and then you have the exit of the hotel going down the hill, and then you have the entrance going up to the hill before you go to the hotel. Like, all those areas are really tough on your tires if you're not comfortable or smooth with your you know, you're driving and you're lying.
Oh, cars on the fuck.
Cars apparently
after the,
as you hear,
first
Alex.
carousel things.
Yep. So cars, man. Oh my god. This is just ridiculous, bro. So this happened twice before. This happened on Vinewood and Vespucci, I believe. And
there's a car there.
fucking Moran. Oh really? He's funny. I like that guy.
The track,
funny though. funny little moment there. But
If you
yeah,
hit
these
one
cars
more
are
snow,
spawning, bro.
otherwise,
Like, what
thank
is
you for
this?
warning
This
us.
hasn't happened on most of the tracks, but for some reason, on a few of these tracks in the end,
After turn 1,
they've been happening. It's very weird.
After the parking lot, yeah.
I don't know what causes it. I don't
there's
know why it
people-
happens. It's a little funny, but it's also annoying. It's like we're trying to race out here for championships out here. You know, we're not
It's
trying
only
to.
certain tracks. Too.
We're not trying to deal with that. But luckily I didn't see any cars. I was good because they spawn and they go away.
Flagging.
But as you
Did you
see,
hit a
there's no
car?
cars for us other than the cars on that over in the parking lot there. We're chilling. We didn't. Luckily, we did not see anything like that in the racing line. That would have been
And then
annoying
knock
as
you
fuck.
way off.
But yeah, anyway, Halo Infinite, I really think it delivered this year. Like, it's not perfect, but man, the campaign's so good. I played the campaign like 4 or 5 times over. Love the damn campaign because I'm an open world guy. Like I used to play Red Dead all the time, like still do, and I love doing the open world there. Like I like The Witcher. I just like open world games that really immerse you into it and have you just all these things you can do that don't feel like filler, like feel like meaningful things. See, like I played Horizon Zero Dawn and I liked that game, but a lot of the things for me personally felt like filler. Like the game was good, but it didn't feel that immersed into the story. Like I didn't connect with the character. But man, like anyone connect with Master Chief, you know. Master Chief is awesome. Like, you know, he's just a fucking beast. He's a killing machine, and
Hazard.
it's cool because they actually add some humanity to him. Like he actually, like, you know, he's always just been like this kind of silent killer. Doesn't really talk much, just kind of kills.
I don't know.
Just kind of does his thing, you know. He goes to work, kills the Covenant, just does what he needs to do. But you start to see him kind of talk a lot more in this game because, like, you know, he lost Cortana and there's the whole thing with that. So like he actually is showing some more emotion to him now. And there's like you see some backstory with that, and it's kind of cool because you've never seen that with Chief before. And anyway, that's a nice part about the campaign. But getting back to like the multiplayer side of things, you know how like with Battlefield, man, Battlefield release, and that game was broken, right? Like Battlefield 2042, I was actually kind of excited for Battlefield 2042, but the game was so broken. I don't even know what's all wrong with it, but I've heard it's just busted, and that's unfortunate because Battlefield, it was their year to really do something decent. You know, COD is on the downhill. Like I don't like COD Vanguard at all. Some people say it's fun. I personally think it's shit. I don't think like the last COD I enjoyed, like really enjoyed, was BO3. BO4 is okay. Honestly, still was like a crappy version of BO3 to me, but compared to some of the games they've released recently, BO4 is not that bad. But back then they really innovated. Like remember when BO3, any of you guys have played it, like they had the hero gear you could grind for each and every specialist. They introduced specialists, which had never been in COD before, so like it was really interesting and unique at the time. You had all these like weapons and different abilities you could use. And then you also had like Dark Matter, which they added, which like Diamond was always Treyarch's thing with like BO2. They had the Diamond grind, right?
I didn't hear my
then they're like, shit, let's add Diamond in the game for every gun, but then add Dark Matter if you get every weapon, you know, gold. And that was awesome. Cause I'm someone who likes to complete stuff in like online games, or not online games, like story games. But I really like to grind multiplayer shit too. And it's kind of why I was talking about Halo Infinite earlier, because like I love the game, but the grind is like kind of tedious because like you have to rely on event challenges, which are weekly events that come out and they introduce new challenges for the week. But as soon as you do all your weekly challenges, they just disappear. And the only way you can upgrade your tier is by playing matches, which you would think, oh, okay, I mean, that makes sense. But you only get like 50 XP per match. And every tier is like 1,000 XP. So you would literally have to play 20 games to upgrade one tier, man. One tier is 20 games without challenges. Now, when you have challenges, it's actually, you can get up there. Like, I went up like a good solid 5, like, not 5. I think I went up like 10, 12 tiers earlier today after they added the challenges, which was really cool. But normally, bro, it's like, bro, you gotta like, you would have to play forever. Like, because some of the challenges are really annoying too. Like, kind of tedious challenges that you just aren't gonna be easy to do. Like, I think there was one where I needed to like melee 10 enemies in the back, which you would think, oh, that's not that hard, but you had to do it in a certain game mode that they just added called, it's like an elimination kind of like game mode where you have a certain amount of lives and you need to revive your teammates if they all get eliminated when your lives run out. So people wouldn't kind of play passive and slow, which you're thinking, oh, okay, so you're gonna be able to just sneak up behind someone and melee them and get a free kill. But I'm telling you, Halo Infinite, bro, people they're not newbies no more. You know, this ain't 2012, 2011 anymore, like on Halo Reach, where you could sneak up behind some dude with a sniper and melee them. Like, don't get me wrong, you can still do that, but it's not going to happen very often. People have gotten a lot smarter. Everyone's got monitors now. You know, they got Astros. They're listening, you know what I mean? So unless you're duck walking around crouching, you're not going to be able to sneak up on someone. Or unless you get, like, active camo.
Base clear.
Enough of that anyway. I'm sorry for talking about that so long, but that was just something that I kind of was thinking about because man, I think about the old games like, you know, Fortnite, and I think about like BO3, and I just think about like the old games, like even like Destiny, when I used to enjoy grinding on those games. Like it didn't feel like a task, you know. As we drift around that corner real nicely, gonna have to pit this lap. But yeah, I used to like enjoy grinding games and enjoy grinding challenges, and don't get me wrong, I still enjoy it because it is rewarding, like getting the armor pieces and stuff. It's cool, you know what I mean? It's cool to upgrade your Spartan and upgrade his look and make him kind of look cool. You know, you get new visor colors and tints, and you get new armor pieces and just a bunch of cool stuff. But the problem is that how you get those items isn't that rewarding, or not that enjoyable. Like it's kind of like just it's frustrating a little bit. It's just like a pain. You dread it. You don't want to do it, but you just do it to get it over with. You know what I mean? Just so you can get the challenges done. I wish games would honestly allow you to pick your own challenges, or at least make the challenges that they offer more interesting and exciting to do. Like, I don't know why games recently they just give you the weirdest challenges that like no one wants to do. I remember back like when Fortnite first came out and they were doing like the weekly challenges, like it would just be simple shit like visit snobby shores or go collect a star here, do shit like this. And some of them in the moment you would be like, I don't want to go collect this, I don't want to go do this, but they would bring new opportunities, because like you would go to a certain area that you've never gone to before, really, because the maps are big, you know, they're always updating them. You go to certain areas maybe you haven't gone to very often, and there's been a few times I'm trying to do a challenge on Fortnite, and I find myself a whole new loot run. You know, I find myself a couple of chests. I'm like, oh shit, they got some really good stuff over here. And next thing you know, I find myself a nice little loot run area for off of the beginning of a new match if I'm on like a win streak and I'm trying to farm wins. You know what I'm saying? Like shit like that. Like there's reasons behind what they were doing, and that's just not the same with new games. Like that passion and like level of like attention isn't there anymore, and it's really unfortunate. But enough of that. We'll get off topic with that. We'll get back to the race here. So we're currently still in first. We're 17 seconds ahead of Viper at the moment. He is gaining on us, even with a few. That proves how fucking bad the downgrades are on this track. Even with like 3 downgrades, and this kid's like, he broke his wing like twice, and he's still like in a position to potentially like catch me if I don't like push perfectly. You know what I'm saying? So that's crazy. So I'm like, shit, okay. He's still in this. Like, he ain't out of this by any means at all. He's 16 seconds now, so he is getting closer and closer, and we still have ourselves 9 laps to go. So we got ourselves a good amount of time to go. Actually, I think it's 8 laps, going to be 7 actually, because of I'm thinking because 25 laps is the entirety, and then the 26 is the cooldown. So we still got ourselves a decent amount of time to go here, and he is gaining. He just gained himself another 3/10 after that gas station. So he's gaining, he's pushing, driving real good. So we're gonna really just have to try our best here to do perfect. But I think we're ahead on a pit stop though. We're gonna extend our stint to the end. I think we're going to the end here, or either that or we're gonna pit. No, we're gonna pit one more time towards the end. But he's gonna have to pit more than us because his tires are gonna be on a different strategy. At least I think he is. So we're okay. So we're like, okay, he is getting close, but he's gonna pit soon, and we'll regain that gap, and then we'll pit, and then we'll be chilling. But as you see, he's getting closer and closer and closer with each and every turn, each and every straight. He is gaining time, so we got to keep our head up and just keep pushing, keep grinding this shit. Because this is a long race, man. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. 34 minutes in, I was starting to get a little like, I was getting like, man, this is getting a little long. Like, you know what I mean? Because normally at this point, we're within the last like 2-3 laps. We still got like a good amount. Like, we got like another 7-8 minutes, 8-9 minutes to go, maybe even more. And I take this a little wide. It's all right though. As we go up the hill now, and I think Viper is now. Is he? No, is he going down the straight? Is that him? I can't tell if that's him going down the straight now or him about to be going down the straight. I think that's him going down the straight. So he's right there, bro. He's literally turning around, about to go up the hill. He ain't too far behind. You know, we can't make a mistake here. You can hear his car right now, like he is there. So we got to keep going. We got to keep pushing this. We got to stay up and keep consistent. Really go down that hill very well there. That was actually very smooth for 3 downgrades, especially.
As we don't need to know about.
As you see, he is just gaining and gaining and gaining.
Near you.
I think he's gonna come in for a pit within the next lap or 2 though. So I'm like, all right.
Okay, I mean,
we'll just keep our shit up. And
it's not just about.
Yeah, man. Ajax is he's telling someone that they don't need to say they pit every time unless you're like in an area where someone's close. I don't know who he was talking to there. But now we're on lap 17, so we still, man, this shit's crazy. This shit is honestly, it's crazy how long this race is to the other ones. Nonetheless, though, we're just gonna try to keep this up. It's getting dark out now, so like I'm like, okay. Driving, it's been dark actually for a while though, but luckily this track fairly well lit because it's like in the street, you know. So there's like you get the lights and stuff all in the street. So luckily it wasn't too hard to see. Some of the tracks in this league when they get dark, it's like holy crap. Like on Plaza, it gets, or not Plaza, sorry. When you're playing on Elysian, when it gets dark on Elysian, it's like shit. Like you can't see really much at all. And there's another track, I can't remember the name, but I think it's like, was it Terminal or something? It was Terminal. I think it was Terminal at night. And then International. International is actually kind of cool at night because the lights would come up on the airport. But that, y'all know what happened at that race. It ended up raining on the Halloween event. I thought it was kind of cool though. It helped me out too, because if that didn't happen, I think Alex would have won that one. So it helped us get the win because we were able to kind of preserve our pace and our gap with the, you know, the water being on there with the tires and stuff. Because I'm real good at driving in the water, so I was able to hold that down. And that's what we're gonna try to do now. But we don't have no rain to save us this time. We are in the dry, and we are gonna have to push really hard because there is nothing to save us here other than our own ass. So we're gonna have to keep pushing. As you see, Viper though does go down in time. That's because he pitted. So I was like, oh, okay, so he pitted, we're okay. And man, bro, y'all about to see something so stupid here in about 3 laps, 4 laps. Y'all's gonna see something stupid, something heartbreaking, something that, quite frankly, at the moment when it happened, I couldn't even believe it happened, and I needed to take a break. Like after it happened, I just took a break from GTA and took a break from this, like from everything, for like a whole week. I didn't even touch GTA or nothing. I just didn't have the energy nor like passion or desire to even touch the game, and y'all gonna see why. When shit like this happens, you get kind of gutted and you just feel kind of like stupid in the moment. Depending on the situation, if someone fucks you over or something, it's one of those things where like, you know, you kind of pissed at them and yourself too, but like this situation is kind of unique, as you guys are about to see here. I'm not gonna say nothing, but it's interesting. Let's just say that. But we're actually getting close to lapping some guys here. Takes a little longer to lap, much longer actually to lap. We're 38 minutes into this race and we're just about to lap the first guy. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. Normally I'm lapping someone maybe within the first like 15 minutes, but damn. 40 minutes in and we have not lapped anyone yet. That's nuts. But at least nothing, not that I've seen. Maybe someone was in the pits though. Someone might have been in the pits and I lapped them. I don't know. But from what I've seen, I haven't lapped shit. But take that corner decent. We kind of skid a little bit there. But we're just trying to get ahead of these guys with these lap cars now. I see these lap cars. I'm like, okay. I'm like, oh, I can get a little. If I can get ahead of this traffic, that'll be a little bit nice too, because then I can get a little bit further away. It just gives me a little cushion between Viper and me. So if he does close the gap, I'll have some people behind me at least, you know, kind of, you know, make it a little more interesting at least for him to get by. In some aspects, it might even help him with the slip. If they're willing to give him the position on the straights and stuff, they might just give him slip, and it might actually make it harder for me. So it's very situational. But
exiting pit.
As you see, we actually, that entry, that was a weird, when we exited that, we took that wide. It was weird. That gas station, it's kind of strange with that one. Like the way you, like your line is so important. If you take it a little different than you do at the time before, it's like your outcome of where you exit is completely different. We're actually honing in on someone here. We're getting very close. I don't know who this is, but we are going to be catching them very soon. And we're gonna just try and hunt them down. And we should be making time through here though, because if we're lapping them, we're definitely faster, obviously. But we're gonna lose time still in the straights. It's just inevitable. But as long as we make time here on all these areas, we'll be fine. As you see, my line's a little different than whoever's in front of me right now. I think that's Stoney. I took that straight a little tighter, a little bit wide. You actually save time if you take it tighter like that. So I was gaining a little bit of time here, but he's just gonna probably undo most of that I did there just by going on the straight here, because he's gonna obviously be way faster than me. As you can tell, he's way up there. But we take this a little deep, honestly, a little deeper than I should have. I could have caught his slip if I was like maybe a second or two closer. That would have been a good move to catch the slip, but that wasn't really necessary. But didn't lose us too much time. And we actually take that pretty well, keep our tires going, and I don't think we're gonna be able to push them to the end of the race though, because you see our tires are kind of orange. We could have probably tried it. We probably should have. Honestly, I should have just went to the end. I would have rather my tire popped than what happened. And I know that's a crazy thing to say. You're like, why would you rather your tire pop? But you guys will see what happened, and you're gonna see why I say this. And I think it might be coming up this lap. I don't know why I pitted either. My tires were fine to go at least 2 more laps, 1 more lap at least. And honestly, in my mind, like right now, I wasn't planning on pitting. I planned on pitting at the last second. It was a last second decision. I decided to pit. Oh no, it was okay. It was the next lap. So I went 1 more. But you guys are going to see what happens. But right now, look at the gap. We got like a good gap. We got 5 laps left. And we got ourselves like 20 seconds. Like, this is in the bag as long as we drive good. We got this. Like, even with the pit stop, as long as we drive good, we'll still be like 9, 10 seconds ahead of him, you know, towards the end. So we'll be okay. As long as we keep this up and we can just, you know, not crash or anything like that, we'll be all right here. But we are going to need a pit.
Flag when you get the chance.
So I'm telling Stoney the blue flag whenever you can.
Thank you very much.
And he lets me by. Very nice. And right now I'm like, okay, we got 5. We're gonna be on 4 laps here in a second. I got past Stoney. Come on, like, we got this. Like, this is a huge race for us, because this would have been huge. If I win this race, I would go up 18 points in the championship. It would be an 18-point advantage if I win this. So that's huge. It would have been 167 to 149. That would have been the standings if I win this race. You guys are gonna see something happens that is very, very stupid, clumsy, unfortunate, and just overall just dumb. It was dumb. It was very dumb. It was my fault. It was my fault entirely. Like, I'm not gonna blame it on the game or anything. But it's one of those situations you almost can't believe until you see it. I couldn't even believe it. I haven't even seen it since it happened. I didn't even have I didn't have it in me to witness it again. Y'all about to see some tragic shit. It's tragic. So I'm like 19 seconds ahead. I'm like, okay. Let's box here. We'll come out like 10, 11 seconds ahead of him, right? So I'm like, I'm gonna box. But I still didn't think about it till last second. I was thinking about going out, and then I just said last second box. And then look at this. Look at what happens. Look at what happens. Oh my god. And then I try to respawn. I try to respawn.
No way.
You're breaking
I try to
my heart
respawn.
right now.
And Stoney's like, bro, you're breaking my heart. And then I try to respawn. And look what happens. And then, man, I honestly, I can't even. We gotta go watch this back. So as you see, I enter the pit and I went so full send. I should have lifted way before, and I nick this damn thing. Nick this fucking stupid ass damn fucking wall. Honestly, bro, like, why the fuck did they even add this? I don't know. Like, to me, if this is my track, not even I'm saying this a little biased because of, you know, what happened here, but I'm taking away this rail and I'm just making the pit see where that blue line is? That's where you go. I'm cutting that whole wood metal wall's gone. You just go into the pits. Why not? You know, what's the reason for that extra air thing? Other than just, I don't know, maybe to slow you down a little more when you go in the pits. I don't know. But I was like, fuck. As you see, I'm fucked. Because not only did I go to respawn, because I thought I would respawn in the pits like an idiot. So I lost all that time. Not only did I lose all that time going into the pit and crashing, but then I lost like an extra 7 seconds not going on the straight immediately instead of trying to respawn. And man, I was just gutted at this point. I'm like, no way. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you can feel it in your heart. You're sinking. You can see the gap. Like, he's right there. I'm like, no, bro. And at this point, I'm sure Viper's like, oh shit. You know, like, yes, let's go. Like, it kind of evens it out though. Like, honestly, yes, I had an advantage. Yes, the race was mine. But if you think about it, Viper crashed his wing twice, right? He crashed his wing twice, and he had those incidents. So did Alex. So it kind of evens it out. This was probably the result that I should have got. Like, but you know, every race is different, and you always got to take advantage of what you get. And I fucked up here. And I actually make another mistake, and y'all gonna see it. My first mistake was crashing. My second mistake was trying to respawn. Because if I didn't respawn, I would be going into the hotel right now. I'd be still up a little bit, and you guys are gonna see why that's a mistake. So that was my second mistake, and then I actually make another mistake. So respawning was one, crashing, and then there was one final mistake that I make, and it is a very fucking. It's one of those mistakes you make in the moment, thinking it's gonna work out, but honestly, even I could have gotten second even, and even those extra 3 points I would have taken. I should have. Honestly, I should have just said, fuck it, that's what I did. I fucked up, let's just take P2. But I got too aggressive, and I wanted to try to still fight. So you guys are gonna see what I do here. As you see, Viper's behind. He hasn't quite got to the slip, but he's there. And he's gonna, he's got this now. And I'm like, fuck, now I gotta box. This is shit. This sucks. But see what I do. I box so quickly, I don't even let my tires get fully fixed. And in any other race, this would be viable. This would be a very viable, respectable strategy. But on this track, when you got, even when I exited the pit, I'm like, fuck, look at my tires. They're already orange. Like, they need to be yellow right now, and they're orange. And I still got, because Alex is still there. You know, Alex is just going down the straight. I got to still worry about him. At this point, like, Viper, I'm probably not going to pass him. But you guys are going to see what happens. So me respawning, right, that's about 6-7 seconds, I'd say, lost, right? You know, about 6-7 seconds lost on a a respawn. So if I didn't respawn and I would have just sent it through and said and accepted the crash, I would be 7 seconds ahead right now, right? Keep that in mind. Just keep that in your guys' heads right now. Just keep that in your heads. You guys are going to see why that's crucial for one final reason. There is a final reason. So, oh man, mistakes on mistakes on mistakes. As soon as you make one mistake, it's just like you just slip. You know what I mean? You lose your composure. You lose yourself. Because at this point, I was gutted. I was like heartbroken. I was like, man, I was definitely some devastation. You know, I feel a small, partial, tiny amount of the feeling that I can imagine that Lewis felt when he honestly kind of got screwed over. And as you see, my tires are already sliding around. I'm like, fuck, dude, I can't pit again. My tires are already fucking sliding around. I got Alex kind of close. Like, this is not good. And but think about that respawn. Think about that respawn right now. You guys got to think about this. So as you see, my tires, look at the tires. They're already like orange. I'm like, oh my god, that's Alex right there. He's going down the hill, bro. Like, what the hell did I just do? I'm just breaking apart right now. Like, right now, I'm like, fuck. I'm just like, gutted. I was gutted like crazy. And as you see, I'm already struggling. Like, I'm struggling so much. I'm getting so much fucking oversteer or understeer. And as you see, look at that gap. Notice that gap. That gap is the exact gap. That is the exact gap I would have had with the respawn. If I didn't respawn, at least I could have gone down fighting. At least I could have fought Viper and made it interesting. And I'm just like, I can't believe myself. I'm talking to myself. So I should have just shut the fuck up and mute my mic. It's like, bro, at this point, it's like, fuck. And I'm like, oh, I'm angry. You can't help but not be angry. You know, it's human. We're human. You know, I can't help it. But I'm upset. It's sad. It sucks. But it's the way it is. You know, it's racing. And you know what? I learned a valuable lesson. I am, for now on, I know it sounds stupid, but when I go into the pits, I am, like, always going to think back. Every time I go into a pit stop that's tight like that, because there's some pit stops, you know, that are a little tight and are a little more risky to make, you know, you can crash. I'm always going to think back to that situation. I'll be like, dude, even if it loses you 2/10, lift. Tap the brake, do whatever you do, just get in that pit smoothly. I don't care if it loses you a damn second. Just don't crash in the pits no more, you know? But look at this. So at this point, the race is, the wind's out of the section, out of our thing, right? But now we're like, okay, let's try to get second at least. And look at our tires, right? We still got a couple laps to go. Alex is getting close. If I had like, if my tires were like orange right now, you know, if I went yellow in the pit, they would be about orange. So I'd be okay right now. I would be like, all right, I can make it in second to the end here, and I can still get some points. But now I'm like, fuck, I might lose second. I might not only lose first, I might lose second. That's a total, I mean, I lost, man. That's 10 points. That's a 10-point loss. You know? So, man, huge L's on me. Very dummy noobs. Just dummy moves all around. Huge mistakes. I failed to seize a massive opportunity with both of them crashed and lost their wings. That's not going to happen very often. These guys are very good, solid drivers, and it was probably not even their fault. They probably just got unfortunate luck. And, you know, now I'm like, okay, we still got a whole 2 laps to go. And look at my fucking tires. See, that's another thing. If I was able to push my tires this far, I should have just went another lap or 2 with those tires before when I boxed and crashed. And in my mind, I was going to go another lap, but then I decided last second to pit. And I think that's why I crashed, because I wasn't prepared for it in my brain. So I like just went full send into the pit, whereas in any other situation I kind of lifted a little bit. And now I'm like, shit, bro, I got fucking Alex right here, bro. Stony, I'm like, fuck, dude. Hopefully I can catch Stony slipping. Get the fuck out of here.
Back on your left.
I'm like, I need to get.
Oh, sorry. Shit,
I said left, and then I had to switch right. It was a weird situation. Luckily we didn't crash there. It wouldn't have mattered anyway, because third was already guaranteed. Because we were like a good minute and a half to get us to fourth. And Stoney actually sent it by, and I was really hoping he could stay behind me, kind of to give a cushion between me and what's it called, Alex. And right now, look at my tires, man. Look at these tires. They're done. They're gone, bro. What have I done? Not only have I given up first, but now I'm gonna give up second. As you see, Alex is there, and we're not gonna be able to fight this dude. You know, he's like one of the top wheel-to-wheel guys like in the league. I'm not gonna be able to battle him on red tires. So I got Stoney. I'm like using Stoney a little bit. I'm like, okay, I'll use Stoney. Kind of maybe can help defend. I have to take the inside line so I don't get overtaken here. And now I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm fucked. Because Alex is right there, and he's going to take the right side here or the left. He takes the left, and I'm like, shit. And do I catch the slip? I do catch the slip, and I'm like, okay, we're still in it.
Keep up, blue flag.
And I take the position back, but man, at this point, I have no grip. I have no grip. My wheels are, my tires are on the verge of popping. I don't think they'll even last this entire last lap. Like, this is kind of fucked, you know? Like, in my head, I just can't believe it, you know? Because it's like, I went from a comfortable cruise to first place to this, you know? Just like that. And that's why, you know, you never give up in a race, because things can always happen, whether it be someone making a mistake like me and this, you know, or something, anything, you know? Anything can happen. And I take this super deep. We're having a nice little wheel-to-wheel battle. And hey, at least it made some content for you guys. At least y'all can watch it and enjoy it. Because this race was a little bit of a snooze for some of the race, because I was cruising in first. And it would have been that way the entire time had I not crashed. But it would have been nice for points. But we ended up fucking up. And I'm trying to fight Alex here. I try taking the inside. I really dive this shit as hard as I can. I'm like, fuck, dude. My tire's on the verge of death. I'm just trying to hold, maybe keep this second. But it's going to be tough as hell to do. And I'm like, all right, we got to try to take the undercut, but Alex keeps it. And at this point, it's pretty much over. I try sending it, and my tires are giving out. Like, they are done, and they gives out. It gives out there. At this point, it gives out, and I'm like, it's over. So Alex gets away. He takes the P2, and my tire's on the verge of death here. I can barely fucking race at this point, and I'm just, in my brain, I'm
so
like...
upset with myself, dude. I can't believe what I just did. Stoney witnessed it.
Yeah. That's all we can really say.
Oh my god, I just gave up. That's... fucking
Viper P1.
But that's the race, man. That's what happened. I don't even know what else to say.
In Sector 3,
rewatching it
no tires.
is painful.
God,
Rewatching it is painful.
I'm so upset.
I should have muted myself.
I may have just cost myself this whole
I need
championship.
to shut the fuck
with
up.
that one
Ajax, where you at?
racing.
There you go, Ajax. Tell me to shut up. I'm
Alright,
talking
sorry.
too much. Alright, but that's the race. Just shut up, Elite. Shut up,
I'm
Elite.
just gonna retire my car on this lap.
And I fucked Supa up. I pray to God that didn't do anything to Supa. I don't think it did. He was a good section distance behind anyone, but now I gotta drive a miserable full lap with my car pitted. I should have just retired and left the damn game at this point, but nah, we don't do that. We don't quit like that. We fight to the end. I've learned that from last season. I quit out of a race last season, but that was different because I wasn't used to the whole contact thing. And this was my fault, so I can't be mad at anyone but myself, which I was, you know. Because now this puts the lead down. I only have a 1-point lead. Leaving this race, I am only ahead of Viper. It is a 157 to 156 advantage.
Oops.
So I still have an advantage, and an advantage is always helpful. You know, any advantage is there. It's great to have in a race. But when you give up an advantage at that level, an 18-point lead, it's rough. So I'm gonna go ahead and just. I'm probably just gonna stop talking now because it's painful watching this, bro. Like. I can feel my pain again. I'm just watching this fucking slide around the goddamn corner. Yeah, man. It's rough. It's rough. It's rough to watch. It's painful. It hurts, man. It always hurts.
Fuck the BR8, dude. Fuck this car.
But, yeah. That's the way it is. I'm gonna go ahead and end the commentary and,
Alright, go for the music.
just let y'all watch the last fucking minute or so of my pain.
Come on.
And, I'll catch you guys on the
Ajax
next
P5.
race. And,
P6.
hopefully that's a better one, you know. Hopefully we can go ahead and we're gonna send it. That next
What
race,
happened, Island?
I am sending it full
What
send.
happened to you?
If
You
I
slowed
won
down
this
in the
race,
second
I would have been
sector.
up by 18, and I probably would have gone into the next race
this
just kind
lap?
of, not
Yeah,
necessarily
on the last lap.
relaxed, but like
was on
not
purpose.
worrying about winning. I would have been just kind of like okay and
Yeah, I
comfortable with
believe
getting
you.
a second, but still
I just
trying,
noticed
obviously,
that.
but not taking any serious risks. But
Did
now
you slow down
I'm not.
on
I'm
Vegas there?
taking every risk I can. I'm sending it. You guys gonna see.
Trying
It's
to get a-
impossible
I'm just
to
dive bombing. I don't care,
break
bro.
sticks
I'm
in Ajax
taking. I
season
want to
unless I
win
weave,
this
and
race.
that's against the
So
rules.
I'm gonna do anything I
Wait,
can to win.
On the last lap, you.
I'm gonna try and race as hard as I can,
No,
as fast
I
as I
didn't
can,
slow
and
down on last lap. I was
take
just trying to
every
be
risk
extra
necessary.
careful,
And if I fuck up, I
maintaining
fuck
the
up.
speed as
If
well.
we get it, we get it.
But,
But at this
uh,
point, we
you
are
made
in
the
a
move.
very tense situation.
I thought I was outside your slipstream.
Because we went from a comfortable 18-point
Nope.
lead and
Nope.
having a good chance of winning the
I thought that was a
championship
deliberate
to
act.
a 1-point lead, and now we're
I'm
in
not
like a
judging,
really
that's
tight
true.
battle. So, which is still
And,
enjoyable. It's
yeah,
exciting
I
for the
thought
league
that
and
you
everything,
kind
but
of
it's
stayed behind on
it's,
purpose,
unfortunate when you give up
deliberately
something like
to
this.
overtake me on the
But,
finish line.
alright,
That's
guys.
why I said go for the
that's
beauty.
pretty much the end of the video.
And that's what happened.
As I slide out one more time, I can't even get back to the damn pits. But
Beautiful finish.
I hope you guys
It was
enjoyed.
almost a photo finish.
even though it was a very weird race, but yeah, man.
We haven't got
That's
a
it.
1-2 since
So-
the last time we had this
and-
slavery on.
And that's the crazy thing, as you hear Alex right now, that's the
You guys
first
are welcome
1-2.
for that shit. Fucking Christ, I'm pissed.
Look at this.
That was the first 1-2 in forever, so I kind of helped them out there. But
So-
yeah, man. GG's, and peace out, boys.